Alright folks, time now for another weekly review. Hello everyone, Megaman G here, and I welcome you all to this week's Flash episode review. Before I begin, I do want to say that there will not be a Flash review next week, but the reviews will resume on the 22nd. Why? Because the 21st we're getting ourselves an epic two-parter. Gorilla City and Gorilla Grodd. I am so hyped for that. However, now this week we're going to be providing our thoughts on yesterday's episode, Untouchable. And it was a pretty interesting episode of that. So here's the deal. I'm going to provide a summary and then provide my thoughts on the episode itself. What I like, dislike, etc. It's not going to be a long video because I know you guys are more looking forward to seeing me kick butt in Neo. Alright, let's get underway. Things are actually going well with Barry training Wally in the art of being a speedster. It's all for the sake of stopping Savitar. But then a metahuman starts showing up, killing people by touching them and making them decompose, forcing Barry and the rest of Team Flash to figure out a way to stop him. And even if they could, someone ends up getting caught in the crossfire, forcing Wally to make a very tough decision. And for Barry to at least see if he's cut out to do the impossible. Yeah, it's not much of a summary, but the point is, there's a new threat going on. This week's villain of the week is Clive Yorkin. We don't even get a metahuman name for this guy, which is a shame, because I kind of find his power very intriguing. Basically, anything he touches, it decays and breaks apart almost immediately. And when a human touches it, it leads to death. It's a pretty interesting power, and it could actually prove to be a very devastating foe. And I really admit, this guy could have been a big threat, but he was taken down in a rather unexpected way, which I will explain in a bit. But bottom line, this episode did have a few faults, but I really enjoyed it for a variety of reasons. Reason number one, the chemistry between Barry and Wally West. The chemistry is just that strong. It's very strong, with Barry now being a mentor, similar to how Harrison Wells and Jay Garrick have. This time he needs to teach Wally all there is to know about the Speed Force, especially the most important power, phasing. All speedsters have this power, the ability to phase through solid objects. And at first, Wally was unable to do it, but with a little bit of confidence, he was able to do it. Heck, in the scene when Barry tried to phase a train passing through debris, he gave the exact same words that Harrison Wells did in Season 1. In Season 1, it was, "Run, Barry, run." In this case, it was, "Run, Wally, run." And that was the motivation needed. It really was the good motivation, which did take down Clive Yorkin. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good, though I was kind of underwhelmed with the metahuman. But I will admit his power is dangerously cool, and it sucked that he's now no longer a threat. Had he still been around, he would have actually been a very dangerous contender. Which brings up to one of the faults that I have with the episode. Iris ends up being a damsel in distress. And the only thing that got my mind is, what was she thinking? What was she thinking trying to do something like that? I mean, come on. Well, it wasn't intentionally, but she ended up getting caught in the crossfire. And it forced Kid Flash to have to make a tough decision. There was also a subplot with, another part of the subplot was, during the episode when Iris was recuperating, Caitlin was forced to bring out the Killer Frost within her to save him. Which, unfortunately, wouldn't have happened when Killer Frost took over. Or better yet, the subplot of it involved Caitlin and Julian Albert. With Julian, you guys know that he was Dr. Alchemy and providing people with metahuman powers. Powers that were in Flashpoint. And even Julian admitted that he made a lot of mistakes. And so did Caitlin. And Julian tried whatever he could to help Caitlin prevent herself from becoming consumed by the Killer Frost persona. I will give this credit. It was very good. And it made me really do feel bad for Julian and Caitlin. I like the dynamic the two have, and I'm happy things are actually getting better for them. With Caitlin having her Killer Frost persona in check, and Julian being able to make amends. And if he's going to be a permanent member of the Team Flash, he needs to start bonding with everyone. Not just with Barry, but every single person that's on the team. Whether it be Cisco, Caitlin, Joe, HR, etc. And speaking of Joe, the actor, Jesse L. Martin, oh my God, his performance. His performance was truly spot on. You can't help but feel bad for this guy after finding out all the different things that have happened throughout the season. Like, for example, the aftermath of Flashpoint, realizing of what happened. And now learning that, his daughter will eventually die. You could see that he had so much emotion because he really did care for Iris. And when something bad did happen to Iris, you could relate. If I was in the same position as Joe, I would relate. I would really, really do relate. Believe me. And Jesse L. Martin did a fantastic job. Whereas Carlos Valdez does good work with Cisco no matter what the episode, Jesse L. Martin stole the show for me. And I really liked it a lot. Even for the scenes that he had, it was emotional. It was very, very good. You can't help but feel bad for the guy, right? You really can, especially since the fact that Barry, Iris, and everybody else hid the truth from him. Normally, if I was in that position, I would never do that. I would tell him the truth right here and now. But here, no way. It didn't go so well. In fact, it kind of backfired. Fortunately, everything's all hunky-dory, and since Joe now knows the truth, I feel that it's now more of a conviction for Barry to save Iris from Savitar. But the question is how that will turn out. But the good news is that Wally is actually getting better as a speedster. In fact, he's actually better at Barry in so many ways. For some odd reason, Wally reminds me of Season 1 Barry when he was impulsive and thought that using his powers would mean being a goody two-shoes and like getting selfies and whatnot. No way. Having these powers contains a responsibility. Like the Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. Barry learned that throughout the previous 2 seasons, and now Wally needs to do the same. And I'm hoping that with this, Wally can be able to be developed as a better superhero than Barry Allen. Believe me, I still have faith that the people behind the show can pull this season off. And considering how the episode ended with Jesse Quick showing up and warning Wally about the threat of Gorilla Grodd kidnapping Earth 2 Wells, I am really looking forward to the 2-part storyline. Which, speaking of which, it's going to be a 2-episode event. On February 21st will be a 2-part episode which will have the team travel to Earth 2 to Gorilla City and meet Gorilla Grodd, a Flash villain who is actually one of the playable characters of Injustice 2. I look forward to how that's going to turn out. But as for this week's episode, I give it a very solid 8.5. Yes, this episode does have some flaws, but it makes up for with the chemistry, some of the action, and I believe some of the more emotional segments there made up for it considerably. And I highly recommend you check out the episode. It was very, very good. I mean, it's very good. And considering Season 3 is starting to get a little bit better, I'm hoping it'll be at least just as better as Season 2. Though I can't shake the fact that they're going to make another change before the end of the season. I don't really know for sure, but who knows. So yeah, bottom line, this episode gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me. It was a very good episode. I liked it a lot, and it helps bridge more development with the characters. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway, that's it for this episode review. It's not much. There will be no Flash review next week because hiatus, whatnot. But what I am going to say is that in 2 weeks, I'll be returning. But also with TMNT, the reviews are going to be coming in every Sunday until Season 4 ends. With the Season 4 finale, I'm going to go full throttle with a full review. So look forward to it. Alright, that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. If you've seen the episode, feel free to tell me what you think in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I'll see you in 2 weeks for when we head to Earth 2 and deal with Gorilla City and Gorilla Grodd. Alright, that's it. This is Mega Man NJ signing off. Peace out. See y'all on February 22nd.